Alrighty, welcome back to the Farm Kenya show, and we're discussing matters to do with climate resilient food systems. And when you talk about food systems, you can't talk about food systems actually without talking about the smallholder farm in the country, and that's why we're focusing on that. In studio, we have Emmanuel Macaus, the Senior Regional Technology and Data Manager at Masico. And Emmanuel, but even before we proceed to the solutions, how does a techie find himself in agriculture? You know, you're doing things for telecommunications. Now, all of a sudden, you are a farmer. How was that? What happened?
It's actually a very interesting story. So, I went to work for Airtel Africa. There was a project that we had applied for a grant through GSMA to develop a farmer solution. And that was actually where my journey started, using technology, mobile-based at that time, to provide digital solutions to farmers. At that time, I don't think we were even calling them smallholder farmers, just farmers. Mm-hmm. And so we got this grant and did a very interesting solution. Then Airtel Kenya took it over, and then from there I found myself transitioning to Masico. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that ever since. Surprisingly, it's not just about using mobile technology. It's about everything else. Mm-hmm. You know, it's using different types of technologies to come up with solutions that smallholder farmers can use, or can give an drive impact, to drive change in different aspects. Right now, I think the biggest word here now is AI. We're talking about AI in agriculture. Yes. We have that as a session actually in our annual learning event that is coming up actually in October, 15th and 16th. And we'll be talking about AI being the lead in localizing agriculture. Okay. And coming up with insights from several solutions where it will help us address smart climate, provide smart climate solutions. Maybe look at robotics. Things like spraying, what time to spray, when to plant, predict weather. An AI engine is able to, look at different data sets and process a lot of data. We have a product also called Sprout, which is an open content platform, and we are thinking of, embedding AI as a way of looking at responses, queries from farmers, and generating responses to those farmers on the best practices to use. There are going to be a couple of other sessions on digital public infrastructure and how the government and other public and private organizations can use digital public infrastructure to enable solutions in agriculture. Okay. So the event is definitely about enabling rural ecosystems. Yes. It's going to be on the 15th and 16th of October down at the Marriott. Okay. It's a 2-day event, so I welcome you to come down. Yeah.
We'll try fly a drone around the Marriott and spray their flowers. That is utilization of tech, in agriculture. But even talking about that, because when you talk about technology and smallholder farmers, it's in many layers, many fronts, as you say. And at Masico, you do a very good job of looking at these solutions and finding ways how collectively we can work together to solve the challenges of these smallholder farmers. Yeah. Bring to our attention some of the the pinpoints that technology can come in very handy for the challenges that we earlier mentioned of these smallholder farmers, and how tech could be utilized and sort of specialized and, made for that smallholder farmer.
So in the olden days, let me start from the way we used to do, product development. It was very focused on what we think, or what I as a product manager or a product developer would think a customer would want. And from there, we develop a solution and launch it and do all these campaigns and make sure that the users are able to use it or take up the product. But now when you're designing solutions for farmers, you have to have them in mind. You have to think about what do they do, how do they live, when they wake up, what happens, and it's different for men and women. Men probably wake up, walk around the farm, and probably just go sit down, read the newspaper, and at some point, do something else and go to work. But the woman would probably wake up, milk, take care of the kids, make sure the kids have gone to school, take care of the husband has gone to work, and then maybe at some point go to the farm. So even when you decide you're going to message these two different genders, you have to think about when is the best time to message them. So as we're developing products, we have to think about the farmer in mind. Some of the solutions that are out there and we've supported around scaling up solutions on insurance, for example. Two organizations that are doing that very well across the region, Ethiopia, even Nigeria now, Eka and Pula. They've come up with this, the digital insurance, which looks at soil, weather-based index insurance that is able to cover the farmer. And it's digital. So the farmer will use a mobile device to be able to access it. And if there's an eventuality, they're able to place the claim. And then the claim is met. So insurance is key in safeguarding the farmer, the produce, and also not just making sure that they're not out of pocket when a disaster happens.
Okay.
In case they've also taken a loan, now they'll be set back maybe twice because they have to pay the loan and they have also made a loss. Okay. So that insurance will also come and cover, some of those insurance come and cover such solutions, such issues. Digitizing cooperatives, I think a while back, even the way we used to, the country used to aggregate things like tea, coffee, and it's still going on.
Yes.
By digitizing some of the cooperatives that are dealing with different value chains, and also even putting some of these value chains in organized groups or organized organizations, or farmer-based organizations, and then you digitize those, yeah? I remember seeing a cooperative in Elbagon that was digitized. They started with 15 members, and then right now they have over, I think, 200 members. They collect milk, and everything of theirs is digitized. So when they were doing this, everything was paper-based, and they were losing track of payments, they were losing track on so many things. And later on, when the systems were all put in a digital tool, they were able to see how much milk is being collected, what kind of quality they are collecting, and then what do we owe this farmer. And as they are collecting all this information, they were also now building history, and they were also now coming up with different other solutions. Like now they have an input store at the side, where they're actually able to tell, a farmer is able to come and pick inputs and offset from what the milk they've brought in. So you've now digitized that process, you've brought in efficiencies, you brought in transparency, and then there's a process to be followed. So the farmer doesn't really have to go even to the farm, to the milk processor to take the milk. And the guy will come collect the milk, have it written, write it down on their, have it put in on their phone, and when the milk is delivered, the farmer gets the message: your milk has been accepted, and this is how many liters, and we owe you X amount. So everything there's a track.
Yes. So digitization, insurance.
Insurance.
Yes.
I've seen mechanization.
Yes.
Where tractor hailing is now the the Uber of agriculture, and having a farmer being able to call for a tractor, book for a tractor, and then the agent would come actually as the tractor has been booked to do different kinds of things. The agent can also be passing on good agricultural practices. And this point also, you find that there's the smart agriculture kind of plows that are going to be used. So the farmer is educated about those plows. So they tend to see now this being a digital solution that is able to give them content, advisory content. They are also able to see how the tractor is doing. They are also able to protect the soil and learn in the process of using this service from a digital perspective.
All right.
The last one.
Even before you go to the last one, just to interject, tractor heli, it reminds me back then we used to have ngombe heli in the village. There's somebody who used to have bulls, and in the tilling season, they were in business. The two bulls are called across the village to do something, and that's just digitized. Some of these solutions, you look at the ground, and what can you bring to bring that efficiency? I'm really glad there is that option also.
The last one is actually looking at how to use data to come up with insights, to provide different types of solutions to farmers. Of course, financial institutions would benefit a lot from this, to be able to see what kind of transactions they can get, and it can be alternative data. It doesn't have to be real transaction data, because probably they don't have that, but they would use other alternative information or data from maybe a satellite, or maybe even value chain, what kind of value chain the farmer is in, how many value chains they are in actually, because I said smallholder farmers are multi-value chain.
Yes.
What they can think about the average output that the farmer would make from the different value chains, and be able to come up with a way to credit score this farmer and give them a loan, because they now know that the farmer has an ability to pay, and this is what they are going to be able to pay based on what the analysis that they've done from the alternative data. I think, man, the solutions are so many.
I know. It's quite interesting that, I'm glad you brought out insurance, and this touches, because also part of our discussion, the most affected farmer when it comes to the challenges that the world is going through right now, this climate change issue, is the smallholder farmer.
Yes.
And I'm glad you brought out the insurance aspect in terms of shielding these farmers. Now, I know there are several products that industry players are developing and are looking at these opportunities to take advantage of that. Still, in many aspects, it's almost, as you've said, in financing. Farming, there's no proper, tracking of cash flow and records and all that.
Yeah.
So, financing the sector becomes a little bit difficult for the smallholder farmers, deemed riskier.
Yeah.
In terms of other auxiliary sectors that the smallholder farmer and the agricultural sector needs to grow.
Yeah.
Do you feel they're trying to catch up as soon, or we need to put more effort in this regard?
When it comes to insurance, it's even for us who have life insurance, personal insurance, we are also skeptical about taking it, and it's because of lack of education or lack of information. You probably see an insurance policy and it has terms and conditions, fine print, very small, and can't read this, and then if you read, you don't understand most of what is written there.
Yes.
It's the same thing also for agriculture. So awareness of insurance and demystifying what that agricultural insurance is about. I mean, the two organizations I've mentioned are very good at it. They do farmer training, educate the farmers. They try to break it down to a level where they would understand why should I take insurance. I remember there was a game actually we were playing in the office about that was looking at different aspects of different people's lives. So you're given a couple of cards, and each one of these cards has different components or elements. It's got a lot of things in it. But as we were going around, I was actually losing. But as I was losing, I got a card that told me that you have an insurance cover that will cover you for X amount of money. When I cashed in the insurance, everything I'd lost, I recovered. And so that started, showing the importance of having insurance. Yes. It's there to help you mitigate against risks. Okay. Yeah, unforeseen risks that may happen. That's why we have car insurance. When you have an accident, you don't want to start dealing with fixing your car and fixing other things. It's to also protect the farmer from the unseen circumstances that might happen, disasters. This year we had a lot of rain. We probably lost a lot of crops as well. So what happens to that farmer's seed that he sowed and he spent so much money for it, the inputs, the work, the money. So who pays for that? How will the farmer recover? If they've taken a loan, like I mentioned, how will they recover also as well from that? So the insurance comes in as a way of protecting the farmer. But a lot of information needs to go there, a lot of education, training. These are some of the things we also support our partners with, just so that they can, extend and scale this awareness to their farmers.
Definitely. And as we come to the tail end of this conversation, Emmanuel, there is the expected impact, yeah? And this can be sort of an incentive to be part of the journey, be part of the change. For the farmers that you've interacted with and solution providers, talk to me about just the interventions that you've seen rolled out, yeah? How much is it, you talked about, I'm reminded of the size of the rat, it was like this,
it was huge.
And then there was this, it was almost triple. In regards to, if we make these interventions intentional, and channel it to our small farmers, make sure they're properly informed.
Yeah.
Bottom line, what does it mean to food production, food security of the country, but even more importantly, those farmers' livelihoods?
It means that we are able to make a change. And some of the solutions I've just talked about, for example, even the innovators who are developing some of these solutions want to inform their farmers about different aspects of farming. But getting agronomic content in a certain format that is actionable is difficult. It also costs something. And it's difficult also for these innovators to be able to do that. And so when you start impacting or you start changing the way content is available, advisory content is available, farmers are now able to get good agronomic content, which also now they're able to action and start making an income out of it. We talked about the youth being involved in agriculture. The youth being involved in agriculture earns them money. They look at it as a business and not just as something that their parents used to do. And also when we start using these different digital tools, we start, feeding our nation in one way or another. because it's now about resilience, it's about impact, it's about providing access to food. And that's probably the way that I see us guys or us using digital technologies to empower our farmers to become better farmers, to produce more for this country, and then also to mitigate some of the issues that we might be facing, of course, because of climate change, and also in light of things like pest and diseases. I think we were having a side conversation there about the locust pandemic. Yes. Mm-hmm. We probably don't know the full scale of how it really affected farming at that time. But because of having some digital tools, there was e-extension. And farmers were able to get information about how to track locusts and what to do with them when they find them. And then they would report that. It was called citizen reporting, which was being done by FAO and Plantwise Village, I think that's what they were called. And then the farmers were now able to be told, when you see a locust, if it's this size, this color, do this, do that, spray, all that. So we're still, in an early stage of using technology to do all this, provide farmers with all these solutions. Okay. To address climate change, of course, to address access to inputs, access to financing. But there's hope that we can actually be able to bring an impact and change our farmers' lives.
Definitely. And as we close up, we've realized that at the end of the day, the laws of the land plays a huge role. So sometimes you might be very excited about a particular product.
Yes.
Then you realize, the law says you're supposed to have a degree to fly a drone in. You're wondering, how do I approach this? Now, in terms of policy, supporting these interventions to better, in less than a minute, do you think there is enough support from that side? And if not, what needs to be done?
So, for policy perspective, I think, as Agrifin, we really don't get into the policy part as much. But we try as much as possible to address, to advise some of the partners that we're working with, especially now things like data policies, for example. We have the Kenya Data Commission, which is responsible to make sure that citizens' data, which includes farmer data, is taken care of. Okay. But we advise our partners, and we also talk to them and tell them that when you're collecting data, these are the rules, these are the regulations. Let's follow. Let's try and conform, and do the right thing. Okay. So in terms of policy, we try and see how do we support our partners to make sure that they are in conformity with those rules and policies.
Definitely. Muhimu sana. I love, that answer sounds so
political?
So politically correct, but it's the right answer. We don't get much into policy, but we advise them, which is also very critical. There is a role and responsibility, and for each and every, you can do everything. But I'm glad you guys are pushing innovations and interventions to better smallholder farmers, because when we better them, the country, depending on agricultural ecosystem, that means that even the household revenue generating capability is higher. At the same time, the quality of products is higher, so we are eating healthy as a country.
Correct.
It has this sort of all-round effect as a nation if we just target these solutions to the right places. But thank you very much, Emmanuel Macau.
Okay. Thank you
all the way from Mexico. Griffin. We really appreciate your time here. Emmanuel Macau is the Senior Regional Technology and Data Manager, Mexico Agrifin, and also the same gentleman who said that they used to do funny things at SK shows.
Forget that one.
Forgotten that one. But a very, very interesting conversation. And he says that technology actually is here with us. Artificial intelligence is here with us. We need to have a conversation on how to utilize it for the betterment of every system, including our food systems. That's why this conversation has started, and it's not the last one. We need to build on it as time goes by. But in the interest of time, we have to put a full stop to today's show. Thank you very much for joining with us over the past hour. My name is Noah Kipkimboy. That's been Farm Kenya today. We haven't cooked. Chef Ron is away. So we are finishing the show a little bit hungry. But next time we'll have something for you, Emmanuel. But that's all from us. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. That's nice. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi.